there's going to be some big changes around this YouTube channel. The old Sartori is going to go on a little hiatus. No more talk about sophisticated philosophy and theology. From now on, we're going to talk about one thing, and that one thing is professional wrestling. See, this here is a new Sartori, San Antonio Sartori. And San Antonio Sartori has got a bone to pick with the VNA virtually not alive little corner of the internet. See, everybody's been talking about kayfabe, and some people are getting a little tired of it. Nate Heil says he wants to retire the word because it's lost all its meaning. And I agree with him. I didn't never hear about no kayfabe back in the day when I was watching wrestling. And he said that he wasn't doing it because of anti-wrestling snobbery. And I believe him. Nate Heil's all right. He's a good man, a friend of the working class, a friend of country music and good brisket and professional wrestling. I got no beef with Nate. I've shared beef with Nate when he cooked that delicious brisket. I shook his hand. I was glad to meet him. He's a brother. You hear me? But all these other folks talking about kayfabe are ruining. And it is about being a snob. Why are we talking about kayfabe? We're talking about kayfabe because of big brains like Eric Weinstein. He's the one that started all this. Why is he talking about kayfabe? It's because he thinks it's fake. He's got no love for wrestling. Well, let me tell you something about these big brains like Eric Weinstein. Eric Weinstein went to Harvard University up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. San Antonio Sartori knows a thing or two about Massachusetts. You see, before I became the man you see today, I grew up in Massachusetts, in those fancy institutions run by them big brains like Harvard. Now, Eric's gone up there and he thought he was gonna run the show. He thought everybody at Harvard was gonna be impressed with his big brain, but they weren't. So now what's he do? He's gonna come tell us about how wrestling's fake and it's all kayfabe. Why should we listen to him? Because he went to Harvard? The people at Harvard don't care what he has to say. So why should we care what he has to say? We don't. You see, I learned a thing or two in my time up there. It's a place where they take young boys and they crush them. They crush their dreams and they squeeze all the life out of them. See, my parents, they did me right. My mama was a good mama. My daddy was a good papa. And he was a preacher. And now Sartori's gonna preach a little bit, all right? I'm gonna tell you a thing or two about what I learned from my mama and my daddy. They would tell us them stories from the Bible. And they would read us them good fairy tales and those C.S. Lewis and Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. And it was in our bones. But there was something else out there that was exciting. Professional wrestling. We'd go live out in the woods in the summertime. And we'd have wars with the other boys in the neighborhood. But San Antonio Sartori, when Sartori was a little boy, he got in trouble with them other kids because he was too rough and he was too tough. And they would go cry to their mamas, and their mamas would call daddy. And they would make little Sartori go over there and apologize to their baby boys. Apologize for what? For being weak? For not being tough enough to stick it out, to finish a fight? Yeah, they were weak. Now, Mama and Daddy tried to protect their boys from that machine. They took advantage of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts public school choice program. And they sent us to the best school they could. And the problem was, who decides what's best? They didn't know it. But what they were doing is they were sending us into the belly of the beast. They went to that school. The teachers didn't have to get their hands dirty. No, they had the students do it for them. These are the kids of the big brains, the ones that run the system. And all they do is dissect it, tear it apart. They would relive their childhood traumas on the playground. They would take it out on all the young boys and girls. Anything you loved would be dissected, cut apart, analyzed, hypothesized, systematized, and ruined before your very eyes. And that's what they did to professional wrestling. See, they didn't have to talk about no kayfabe back then. They just said, don't you know? Wrestling's fake. It's fake, boy. It's fake like Frankenstein and Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. Wrestling's fake like faith in Jesus. Well, Mama and Daddy taught me enough to know that that last one ain't true. And if that last one ain't true, maybe they were wrong. Maybe they were wrong about the other things too. But it took me a while. It took me some time before I got down here to San Antonio, where I discovered my inner nature again. The wrestler inside. You see, this world is built on wrestling. And I found that out when I opened up them books. You see, they took away the cap guns and the toy swords and the G.I. Joes. They cut down the woods we used to run around in. But they left us alone with them books. They said that boy's a bull in a china shop. They don't mind a bull when he's sitting down reading a book. So I would crack open that book and read what's inside. And what did I see? I saw a fast-talking serpent and deadly giants and prophets return from the grave. Wicked sorcerers, evil kings. Those stories also had long-haired strong men and roaring lions and jolly fellows with bright yellow boots, courageous soldiers and brave shepherd boys. And in those stories, in the end, someone would crush the head of that serpent. And they would slay those giants. And they would always crown the rightful king. You see, C.S. Lewis told me that one day you'll be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. San Antonio Sartori has something else to say, that someday you will be old enough to watch wrestling again. And that's what we're gonna do. Here's my challenge to the virtually not alive network and the little corner of the internet. We're gonna watch WrestleMania, April 19 and 20. And then we're gonna have a live stream in the ring Monday, high noon, Central Time, San Antonio time. We're gonna have a little conversation about TLC. It's gonna be about tables and ladders and chairs. And if anyone's brave enough to come in and wrestle with me, we're gonna talk about what we saw. You might love it, you might hate it, but you're not gonna be indifferent to it. No one comes, no one shows up. I'm gonna take this here kayfabe belt and hang it up. San Antonio Sartori is gonna retire. I'll go back to being the author, talk about theology, talk about philosophy, and if you're virtually not alive, you can come and join me. Sartori out.